We need to free each other's hearts.
I just want to say I'm a big fan of your work. Thank you for giving me your time. I have a few questions before we get into, I like asking some randoms before we get into why I get to talk to you. I am obsessed with getting more people to see movies in movie theaters. So I'm curious, do you have a favorite movie theater?
Do I have a favorite movie theater? Well, I live in New York, and I would say that the theaters I go to the most frequently are Metrograph, Film Forum, and I go to Film at Lincoln Center. I really love the Walter Reed. So I probably go there the most often.
Well, which leads me to my next thing. If you're going to see some big event film, do you prefer IMAX or Dolby Vision?
I really love the opportunity. I love the opportunity to go to either or both. I would say, one of the best theater going experiences I've ever had was going to the IMAX I think it's on, is it on 57th Street, 59th? I'm forgetting. And seeing Dunkirk, and that was a pretty amazing experience.
Anything Nolan does, I saw pictures of the new IMAX camera that he's using, which isn't released yet, which he's using on the Odyssey. And wait until you see this fucking beast of a camera. It's crazy. That's a whole nother thing. If someone has never seen your work, what's the first thing you'd like them watching and why?
What's the first thing I'd like them watching? Well, Eddington's coming out now, and I just
Sure.
So why don't you start with Eddington? It's
also a good movie. So yes,
I thank you. I hope so. I think so.
I was all in on it. We're going to get to that in a second. What movie or TV show have you recently watched that you would really like to recommend?
I'll give you one of both. One of each. There's a great Albert Serra documentary about bullfighting called Afternoons of Solitude that is just unlike anything else I've ever seen. It almost functions as like a trance film. It's totally mesmerizing. And just I have not been able to shake it since seeing it. And then Adam Curtis has a new series called Shifty, which he made for the BBC, and I think should be available on YouTube. That's incredible, and totally unique, and it sort of functions as like a mirror from the past. But if you like Adam Curtis, I think this is one of the best things he's ever made. And if you don't know Adam Curtis, it's a great place to start.
I have not seen either, so thank you for the recommendations. You've made a number of films. Which shot or sequence ended up being the one that was really, really hard to pull off?
Every film I've made has had, trials and difficult sequences to achieve. I would say Beau is Afraid had many of them. One shot that I'm really proud of that was kind of fun to pull off was him running across the street to get to the convenience store. It would take a while to go into the technical details of how we pulled it off, but it was fun. There was a lot of teamwork involved.
Yeah, that's also, I know the exact shot you're talking about, and that shot is insane. Just how much is going on.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
I'm curious actually about your writing process. When you sit down to start writing something, are you outlining? Are you like, I don't want to go through the whole process, but do you know where you're going? Do you outline first, or do you start writing scenes and then seeing where it's going? Can you share a little bit and maybe use Eddington as an example?
I I don't outline per se. I take a lot of notes, and I guess those function as something of an outline. And then at a certain point, I do start building the architecture of it. So I will, maybe go into final draft, and I'll have my notes with me, and I'll put the scenes in order as I've come up with them. And then from there, I will write those scenes out. So typically before I start writing the script, I will have about like a 25, 30 page final draft document that has, paragraph long descriptions of what, the scene will be.
So sometimes when actors get cast in a role, the director, especially for like a big studio movie, maybe not Eddington, but like they'll sort of add to a character, like, oh, we cast Patrick Stewart in this supporting role. We need to add more scenes, or like add more for him to do. And I'm curious, when you are casting, like for example, with Austin Butler, do you try to add more scenes when you get a name like that? Or is it sort of like people are signing on knowing you have a small part, it's integral for the movie, like this is what you're going to, does that make any sense?
Yeah. No, the script is written, and those are the characters. And, and sometimes it's good that not too much is being demanded of that actor, because it makes it easier for them to commit. It's like you only need to be here for a week, or for 2 weeks, depending on which actor we're talking about. And so, no, for instance, Austin Butler, Emma Stone, they do have, I wouldn't even call them smaller parts, but they have, because they're so pivotal and they're so important and they're so central to the film. But Emma Stone's character is somebody who is, kind of very strategically at a remove from us. We're with Joaquin Phoenix's character. Like, he's our surrogate, or the closest thing we have to a surrogate. And he's somebody who does not understand his wife. He loves her, but he's very sentimental about his life. He's very romantic, which is another way of saying he's not really looking at the reality of what's in front of him. And so we have as much access to Emma as he does. And that's a tricky thing to pull off, especially for Em, who's playing Louise, and who needs to make an impression and give us like a real sense of her history and her inner life, but from a distance, right? So she's both unknowable, but we also need to create a very strong impression. And she and I talked about her being sort of, ghostly, kind of functioning as a ghost in the story. And I love what she does here. I think Austin Butler is incredible. He only showed up for a few days, but he put so much work into this and spent a long time preparing and building this character. And even though, he shows up for a small amount of time, it's meant to hang over the rest of the film. It's meant to really kind of linger. And I think it does, based on what Austin was able to do.
No, I totally agree. Without both of their characters are integral to the plot. I read a quote by you that I thought was fantastic, and it said, "If I had to boil it down, Eddington is really just about a data center being built." And it really struck me, because no matter what the fuck is going on in reality in our world, it's really about money and corporations that are always going to win.
That's right. Yeah. And really, in the end, all the stories in Eddington, all those characters, are really just training data. The movie itself is training data. And yeah, the film is about a bunch of people who are warring with each other, and they're stuck in these ideological battles, but they're also stuck in these little petty personal battles. And they're distracted from, what what's happening out there with big power. And in the end, they're all living in different realities. But I don't, but I don't think that that's the innocent consequence of social media. Social media is a tool. It's the way that it's been harnessed. And all these people are actually, they don't see it, but they're in the same situation, and they're subject to the same forces.
Trust me, I spoke to Joaquin, and I went off on social media because the people just don't realize that what you're seeing in the algorithm is being dictated by somebody. Somebody is like, showing you a stream of information, and based on the stream can determine a lot about how you feel and the way you engage in reality.
Yeah. And we all know it. We all know it, but somehow it's hard to hold on to, despite the fact that it feels so obvious. But it's, and so this is my attempt at dramatizing that.
Listen, I've tried to be off social media as much as I can, but ultimately, when you're sitting in an airport or you have 10 minutes to kill before a movie starts, you're on Instagram or you're doing something and you get your dopamine hit, and you are, anyway, that's a whole other thing. So another quote I read by you that I loved was, Eddington is a Western, but the guns are phones. Yeah.
I like that.
It's perfect, because that's also, again, this is, a modern weapon, based on what we just talked about. Anyway. I don't know if you wanted to expand on that quote at all.
No, I think it's better left right there.
I'll leave it. So I'm fascinated by the editing process, and I'm curious how this film changed in the editing room in ways you didn't expect.
Well, they all change, but in ways that, I now do expect, but it always manifests in surprising ways. So I guess I just contradicted myself. But, editing is where you shape the film. There's the first process in the edit, which is where I sit with my editor, Luke Johnston, and we, assemble everything. So we put together our assembly, which takes a couple months. And then you watch the movie, which has everything in it that you intended to be there. And it is usually a very depressing experience because it just doesn't have a shape yet, or at least a decisive shape. And so over time, it's about, just chiseling away, removing anything that is even potentially extraneous, and focusing on pacing. And that doesn't mean that it needs to that doesn't mean that it needs to move as fast as possible. It's just that it needs to have its own kind of internal rhythm. And so it's just and this is a film, where the rhythm changes. It kind of begins as a slow burn, and then it slowly accelerates. And then hopefully by the end, it's, we're really chugging.
And can I just ask you, did you have a longer cut that you were really happy with, or were you like, this is the cut? You know what I mean? Like, there's no director's cut of this. This is the version, or is there a director's cut?
No, I'm happy with this cut. There is no longer cut of this film.
I'm almost out of time. I'm just going to ask you real quick. I am a fan of your work. Are you currently writing something? Are you thinking about TV? Are you thinking about another movie? Like, what are you thinking about for the future?
I'm thinking about a couple things, writing a couple things. I think I know what the next one is, but I'm keeping it open.
So I love the ending, and Joaquin told me, which I was shocked to learn, that and I don't want to spoil anything, but like some of that was discovered on the day. Like you guys were figuring it out, when you were filming. And can you sort of talk a little bit about that? Because for me, I was very surprised to learn that. I didn't realize it would be that kind of spontaneity on set when you're talking about that stuff. So can you sort of talk about how you figured out the ending without spoiling it?
Well, there's a gag that that happens that was already in the script, but we push it a little bit further on set. But that's not unusual. I think one thing that's great about working with Joaquin is, he's somebody who likes to talk a lot and prepare a lot and go over the script, and he'll have a lot of questions, and it's never about finding the answer. Certainly not before arriving, on set. It's about finding what the questions are that keep this thing alive and make it live. I mean, again, that's redundant, but if we answer something too early, before we get to the set, it tends to become kind of rote. Something about it dies. And so, and it usually doesn't mean that the writing changes. It's not about dialogue changes. It's not even about behavioral changes. It's just about, what is at the heart of the scene that makes it interesting for us and makes it not just a scene.
Thank you for your time. And, obviously I wish you nothing but the best. Hope the film's a big hit, blah, blah, blah. If we can help with anything on Collider, let me know.
Thanks, Steve.